Go ahead.
Hey, coach. The news of Nathan extending his stay at the club. A kid who I think embraces what LFC is. He was a ball boy, and now he's in the first team. What does this represent for the club and for him that you've been having the opportunity to have some playing time?
Yeah, I think we're a club that is good because our culture is based on our community, and Nate is a part of that, and and we want him around for as long as possible. And I think what that also says is um, that we want our younger players to put on the jersey for our first team and play at BMO. We want progression in and to see our younger players develop into professionals. And if they develop further and faster, then maybe they move on to something bigger than MLS or LAFC. Time will tell, but Nate is on a very positive path, and we're very proud of what he's done so far and his development. And it's, I think, a great decision for him and for the club to continue this relationship.
What are some of the qualities that you've seen in time and the ceiling that he has must be high?
Well, the simple answer is attackers need to be productive, and Nate is productive. He's productive in his goals. He always has been in the youth teams, second team, first team. Um, he is, for LAFC, we like to interpret things to be a little more proactive, and so his defensive work, as far as pressing and running in behind, and his very explosive player, is something we look for at this club. And to be able to develop a player from our academy into that in the first team is very helpful for roster building purposes too.
In terms of young player development, how do you think about it in your time here? Obviously, there's a club that wants to win. You rely on a lot of veteran players, a lot of players that you bring in with MLS experience. So giving these younger players time and balancing the side of like, hey, we won 3 points in championships. How do you see all of that?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's a balancing act. So it's picking the right moments. You want players to play, and you want to set your players up for maximum success. And so you want to put players into situations where they're going to succeed, or the chances that they succeed are greater. And that's what we try to do with all the younger players, whether it's Smoliakov this year has had some great progression. Nate, David Martinez, recently Andy Moran, who's only still 21, turned 22 yesterday. So we're looking to put these players into positions where they can feel comfortable, where they can feel free, and where they can develop into better players. And so far, we've seen a lot of that.
Nate's back. Yeah, if all your international departures come back healthy, everybody's good.
Yeah, yeah. The last one to arrive today.
Okay.
The Rapids, it's been a tough place for LFC to play. I mean, we know about the altitude, but what is the other places that make that visiting there challenging? Obviously, you're not going to deal with the cold like you did earlier this season. Maybe some other aspects.
It's just a tough team to beat. And I think you can say that about any MLS team at home. There's a lot of teams that are just difficult to beat, and Colorado's one of them. I think the way Chris interprets the game and what he's done very good at is his team is well organized. They're proactive. They're excellent in transition, and so they create a lot of transition moments, and they create a lot of problems for teams who are disconnected. And when the game gets a little disconnected, that's when Colorado becomes very good and very dangerous. And I think Chris has done a good job of, like I said, putting the game on his terms, and that's the biggest part of our challenge in Colorado. For our players to stay connected, to stay disciplined, stick to our game plan. And if we can, then I do like our chances of winning there.
Playing a team like that, season on the line, but you got a lot of opportunities like that where teams had to play over the last couple of months that they needed the results. How does that come into play with the prep, or is it's what you guys?
It definitely comes into play, but I have no way of knowing what Chris is doing. Even if I called and asked, I'm not sure no, I have not. But I'm not sure he would tell me, nor should he. And so, I don't know what the opponent is preparing. And so we have to prepare for all outcomes or all approaches from Colorado, and we've done that.
And final one for me, just the defensive collectiveness, obviously, Jairson coming in, but being able to either keep a clean sheet or keep the opportunities very low. How have you seen that development? What are the key parts to seeing that uptick, that improvement from their defensive effort?
Yeah, defending and minimizing the attack of the opponent is half the battle for sure. You still need to finish your chances. and create chances. And I think, half of that we did pretty well in Austin. We just didn't finish the one or two chances we created, and we didn't create enough. And that's what we're looking to improve on. But our defensive effort over the past 7 games has been phenomenal. And we will not let up there.
Any other questions? Yeah, Coach, thank you for your time. So looking into the playoffs, how do you see the competition in the Western Conference?
It's excellent. There's a lot of teams. I think everybody can beat everybody. And, San Diego on any day is very explosive and dangerous and scored a lot of goals. Vancouver has been very complete, even though they've had to deal with some injury issues. They haven't missed a beat. They've made some additions in the summer as well, and it got better. Seattle's always difficult, always a solid team. Portland on good days can really hurt you as well. And as we saw last week, if you don't play to your best, a team like Austin is going to beat you too. And I haven't mentioned everybody, but I think all of the teams in the West in the playoffs are competitive, and it should be very exciting.
How important is getting back to key players like Sonny and Bouanga for the playoffs?
Yeah, you can't replace DPs in this league and quality, and those 2 players are extremely important for us.
Hi, Coach
Hi, Derek.
So compared to other regions in the States, Colorado is placed in the higher altitude. So I believe so the players won't get the altitude sickness, but at the same time, are there any specific different training that you're currently prepare for the game?
No, you can't. There's not a lot you can do other than go live there for 7 weeks, and you can't do that. So there's nothing we can do. You just deal with it. It's a little difficult at the end of the halves and to start, but we've been there many times, and it does affect it a little bit, but it doesn't affect it enough to where we need to do something in preparation, nor would I ever try to use that as an excuse.
Jarelson gave you 45 minutes. What do you see from the half that he gave you? And he seems to be on the ball very calm, and it has, just from a viewer perspective, like a slowing effect. But sometimes you guys want to play faster. So how does this style integrate with what you guys do?
Yeah, it definitely calms the game down. Is extremely experienced, understands space and time very well, and using his body in tight spaces. So I think we've used him in 2 ways. We used him to start a game, or used him to finish a game off. I think finishing the game off against Toronto was perfect. I think it had that calming effect on the group. It's exactly what the game wanted and needed, and he found those spots and completely settled the game down for us and took anything that was dangerous out of the equation with the ball. Yeah, and starting a game, it's a little different. It's a little more rapid. There's more challenges. There's less space. There's less time. And so he had to fight for a little bit, but that was important. And how important that will be, we'll find out throughout the rest of the season. But to get him those valuable minutes, because it is somebody who hasn't had a competitive game in a while.
When you talk about him, you make it sound like he can be a key contributor for you, particularly in the postseason. You see him that way, someone who can really come in, make a difference.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Anything in particular about him that lets you believe that?
You looked at him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Big guy. Excellent feet. Can play multiple positions. Good on set pieces. Has played at a very high level in his career, and so there's a lot there to work with.
You can play those 8 balls though. Well, in there at an 8.
More 6 and center back, as opposed to an 8.